Hi, I'm Chris Jones. This is Beckview Studios. We're in Scarborough, North Yorkshire, and this is the studio. So here we have the main corridor of the studio. Through there is the recording spaces. Just down there through that door is the control room, and the hallway is where a lot of the storage for the instruments exists. So down here near the control room is drum storage. At the minute in the studio we have 4 house kits to choose from. The kick drums, when we're not doing a session or if someone's bringing their own drums in, live along the top. And then we have toms and more toms further down. And then the house snares sit underneath. We have this ingenious solution for storing cymbals as well, which allows for quick access to cymbals. For a while we had them all in cymbal bags and it was just a pain just trying to go through and see what we had. So we actually use a canvas storage solution for our cymbals. So we've got amps here, we've got the Fender Twin, we've got a Laney. Any amps we're not using in sessions often live down the hallway here so we can see the options. We've got a couple of the house basses down here. Resonator guitar. We've got a really nice acoustic guitar. Some of the percussion that's at the studio. We've got a pair of timpani at the studio, the other one's in the live room. So it's a flat load in from outside and it's actually just a ramp up into the back of the building, into the kitchen. So we've got 12 string, a couple of standard acoustics, and then we've got a Nashville strung acoustic as well. So we've got the kind of different options for timbre. And here we are going into the kitchen. So this is the kitchen and green or orange room of the studio. We've got a fully fitted kitchen with fridge, freezer, dishwasher, hob and cooker. So basically you can camp out here all day. And then on this side we've got the chiller area with the seating. We've got a game system for the television, and also we've got a feed that punches through from the studio onto the screen. So if you're doing long sessions but you don't want to be in the control room or you want to make a cup of tea, you can still see and hear, there's a speaker down there, what's going on in the studio if you still want to feel connected to what's happening. We've also got the garden outside as well, which is quite private and relaxing. We designed the live room to feel like a really nice living room. We wanted the acoustic to be bright and sound really nice for drums, but also be controlled. So if we roll all the rugs back and we take the gobos out, it's a nice bright space. So drums sound great in this space. This is predominantly where we record drums if we've got a band in the room as well. We have the drums facing this way around just because it's easier for the drummer to get in and out. But if we need eye contact, we'll obviously flip the drums around the other way and they sound great both ways. I usually record the drums the other way around, but Charlie was the one who came up with this idea.
Yeah. I mean, just how dead this area is anyway. When you close the curtains, it's like no reverberation at all, which is obviously Chris has built a very nice room. The band I had in, they really wanted a In Rainbow's Jeff Buckley sound, which is a weird mix, but I just thought I just wanted to get as dead as possible. So I had the drums facing in there. We had baffles behind, which are these ones you can see spread about the room. And then, yeah, I kind of went a bit overzealous on the mics, but I think I got quite a good sound out of this little corner, especially when it's blocked off completely. And then I had a couple room mics spread about. I had some by the safe door, which I think you're about to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That gives quite a metallic sound. So I think that's the best place to have the drums. But obviously, you can have them out in the room as well. And they sound really good, nice and airy. Yeah.
We, having the room mics next to the safe door is basically for us the furthest away we can get the drums, so you kind of get that bigger room sound by having them tucked out away, and because they're not the line of sight as well, the sound's obviously bouncing off the other walls to get to it first. I think as well, Charlie, when you were doing this drummer, he didn't want to see the rest of the band playing either, did he? He wanted to be in his own little kind of comfort zone. So
yeah, we were recording the band like their bass player was late, but just to get the drums down, because we were running it through the tape machine as well. It's in the control room for just tape is tape. Yeah, so he said he doesn't really like seeing the other players. It kind of throws him off if there's like visuals in front of him. So obviously having him this way as well, he can get in easily, which I think Chris already mentioned, because with all the mic stands in there, if the drum kit's the other way around, it's quite a hassle.
climb, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, having them that way is just kind of, the sound was insane. The practicality of it was also insane. I just think it's a very good setup. It's a very unique little cubby that we have, but it gets such a great sound.
Yeah. We when I first got the studio, drums were always over there, and then we had a residential with Thank from Leeds coming across with their producer, and we had a little bit longer to set up. They came the day before to kind of start throwing the kit together for the session. So I was just like, I really want to put them in there, and Thank's producer was like, let's put them in there. And we put them in there, and we were just like, oh my goodness, it sounds amazing. We have keyboard world over here, so it's already set up. We've got the Hammond and the Leslie cab, and then guitar world. Normally the bass player is over here, and then we've got the piano as well there. One of the reasons for guitar world being here is because we can use the safe as an ISO room for the guitar cabs. So if we're tracking instruments and we don't want the bleed, drums to guitar, guitar to drums, we'll put the amp in there. We've got pass-throughs just here, and then we could just plug it into the pedal board. And then when we want to use amps in the room, it's a simple just maneuver to the amps there. So that's why the amps are there in this space. Originally, the building was built in 1937, and it was a council building. It was the Scorby Urban District Council headquarters. So in 1937, obviously, you needed a safe for documents and cash. So they have the safe. When we got the building, we were like, we need to keep this as a feature. So we worked with our studio designer to isolate the safe from the live room. And we moved the safe door forward onto the new structure we built, but kept the original safe behind, and then put another acoustic door further in. So like I say, we use it for isolating guitar cabs, but it's storage for mic cables and all the other bits of percussion and stuff like that, where you want access to it, but you don't necessarily want it out in the room.
Just to finish off with the safe idea, it sounds particularly great with a small to medium sized tube amp absolutely cooking. So at that point where you're a little bit scared it's going to break, but there's something about the solidity of the room walls that just keeps all of that sound inside it. But the sweet spot seems to be somewhere between 15 to 40 watt amps. You go too much bigger than that, and you're starting to blow out the mics because you can't get them far enough away. But in that room, if you've got a small amp, or maybe a pair of small amps running a wet dry thing or something like that, getting them just absolutely roaring in that room, and then you monitor through here, and it's fabulous.
So this is a super dead booth. We use it when tracking instruments. We put scratch vocals in here. We do acoustic guitar in here. We can make it a little bit brighter if we roll the rug back. We've got line of sight into the live room, but we've also got line of sight or not into the control room as well. So when we were designing it, the first iteration of the design was a big window looking through into here, but well, we've got screens for a start to have on, and I like the screen to be central to the mixing desk. So we basically came up with this idea of having the two windows. So if you've got a vocalist who wants to communicate, you can stand them so they can see through. Or if you've got a shy vocalist who doesn't want to be seen or feel like they're on display, you can put them in the bit in the middle, which allows them to have that privacy if they want to go for it without feeling self-conscious about what they're doing. We've also got the screen, so we can punch Pro Tools through to there if we're tracking and dropping in. But we've also got cameras in all the spaces, so for any line of sight which you can't see into the live room, we can pick it up on the screen so you can still communicate with other performers in the space as well.
Gear.
Yes,
Tell us about the gear and why MCI? I mean, I love MCI.
because I'm crazy. I was looking for a desk, and I was like, and basically Sony MXP came up, the 3038 on Reverb, and I suddenly went, oh, Sony made mixing desks, because I hadn't really heard much about them. And then I realized that Sony bought MCI, so then I started looking at MCI desks, and then you suddenly realize how many albums have been recorded on MCI boards, and you're just like, oh my goodness, it's like a hidden gem. The stock pre's on the console are transformerless, and are really clean sounding, and then we modified 6 of the channels. You can tell which they are because they've got the big pots at the bottom so you don't get mixed up, with API 312 style mic pre's with big fat Jensen transformers and the API op amps as well, and they give that kind of API sound. These mic pre's are also a little bit hotter than the stock pre's, so it's good for ribbon mics and any kind of quieter mics. The SM7 sounds great through it as well. If we're using if we're using a more sensitive microphone, then we generally just pad down on the mic or put an inline pad on the signal coming into the board. So we've got 26 channels on this side. And then we've got another 2 channels, so 1 to 26 on this side, and then 35 and 36 on this side of the board, mainly so that we can sit more or less central when we're listening to music and when we're operating Pro Tools and doing any mixing. We generally get mics coming in and then either go straight into Pro Tools or go to the tape machine and then back into Pro Tools, and then we generally monitor back through Pro Tools on channels 35 and 36. These 2 channels are really, really closely matched. They both got recapped at the same time, and they're quite close tolerance-wise. So those are the 2 channels that we use for monitoring back from Pro Tools when tracking. Although when we are mixing in the box, I'll actually punch it through and bring it in on a tape return, so that we haven't got any of the channel electronics colouring the sound in any way when we're monitoring back from Pro Tools. So I liked the MCI desk that much and wanted to kind of invest in keeping it up and running, that we seen one come up for sale and we got a second one. Now, it wasn't in a very good condition when we got it. It was a 1978 MCI, but it wasn't worth really kind of saving. It was more good for parts. But what we did do is we took the rakias and the armrest and everything from it, and then made this custom sidecar to go alongside to go alongside the working MCI desk. So it houses all the kind of main rack gear that you want access to. It's almost like a bit of a producer desk, I suppose, these days. We've got a couple of the DAX mic pre's, which are really clean sounding, low noise floor. We use, and then we've got the Tube Tech tube channel as well, which has got the classic Tube Tech compressor in it for that smooth sound. Beckview Studios is a residential recording studio based in Yorkshire. We specialise in obviously tracking, but we also do a lot of live recording as well. We've done EPs straight to tape, so which is really cool. Like we get a band set up in the live room, we track it through the mixing desk to the tape machine, into Pro Tools, and we mix it and record it live. We also capture it live as well, and we then release that EP out on streaming services. We have a lot of kind of rock, indie, shoegaze that comes through. We had country coming through the doors as well, and we do stuff, jazz stuff as well. So it's all that kind of real instruments playing together in a room. Really enjoy doing the live recording as well. So that live capture it's really cool. Ideally, we'd have over the long term, we'd have more people coming and staying and doing the residential side of things. Although we've had people from as far as Australia come across to do recording here. The chap from Australia was basically working with a guy from Humberside, and they basically came to the studio here to meet up and do all the recording and stuff. So that was good. We get people coming down from Northumbria. We'll have had people up from London as well to track, which has been really good.
Give me one sentence that sums up the studio for you.
One sentence that sums up the studio. You might want to pause for a second. Like a good vibe with the analog and the digital kit and everything that you could need. You've got the accommodation, and you've got the village with all the amenities, and you've got the sea, and you've got the moors. You've got everything you could want, basically.